All right, what do you got for me today?
I wanted to know what the oldest thing we have here is.
Coincidentally, we have the oldest thing right here on the table.
What a coincidence.
We call it the Benjamin Frothingham Passport.
Okay.
What do you know about passports, Masonic passports?
It allows you to travel from lodge to lodge, correct?
Back in the day, that's what they used. Now we have dues cards and things like that. But back in the day, they had to have these, I'm not even sure what back in the day means. It's a long time ago. Back in a long time ago, this would have been given to a gentleman by the name of, actually a brother by the name of Benjamin Frothingham. He was a British soldier in 1759 in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and was made a Freemason at a lodge that they had at the fort. So what we have here is what he was given by that lodge in order for him to use when he traveled around to other areas and visit other lodges. Now, with some interesting things about Benjamin Frothingham is it's kind of a mystery I've been looking up for a long period of time. I should give you the task of finding out more about this.
I have found people with the Frothingham last name in just casual browsing, but
back in colonial America,
right.
That was like Smith. There was like lots of Frothinghams running around. But this guy is the Benjamin Frothingham that was a cabinet maker in Charlestown. And his cabinetry is some of the most formidable cabinetry that you find nowadays. And one of the reasons was the quality was amazing. He was a great cabinet maker. But also he was one of the first cabinet makers to put a label on the back that said Frothingham Furniture. But more importantly for our purposes, there's some evidence that he was rubbing elbows, hobnobbing with some of the founding fathers and other Masons of the day. He would eventually become a colonial officer leading an artillery regiment during the Revolutionary War. And some of the anecdotal evidence that I found on the internet says that he's a friend of George Washington. Like a drinking buddy of George Washington. I don't know how much George Washington drank. And there's also proof that he sat in lodge with Paul Revere.
Oh.
So there's a lodge that Paul Revere was the master of, and Benjamin Frothingham was the junior deacon at the time.
Oh.
What do you think?
It's amazing.
Very cool.
Like the seal is still on it.
This is vellum, so it's like it's not really paper, it's made out of like
that explains why it hasn't fallen apart.
You can kind of see the fold marks. So he would have folded this document up and kept it with him as he traveled around so he could prove that he was a Freemason when he went to different lodges. We don't keep this on display because it is kind of delicate, but if somebody asks me, which they often do, what's the oldest thing that you have in the museum, I'll go and pull this out and talk about the Benjamin Frothingham story, which I'm kind of obsessed with.